Welcome to Inquiry into Self. This is a continuation about my book, An Unprincipled Life Living from the Unknown. This next chapter introduces a tool that I really enjoy. It's the tool of the three wells: the well of compassion, the well of attention, and the well of action. And I call them wells because these are deep inner resources when we pause and open and we really just sink into the present moment. There's an unlimited depth of compassion we can access, an unlimited depth of attention we can access, and even an unlimited depth of action that's available to us. So I'm going to explain how we use these with a real life example. So last night I got called in about an hour and a half after I'd gone to bed. So I went into the hospital and did an ultrasound exam. The exam they told me I'd be doing was a lot more critical than when I got there what actually was. What actually was not as critical an exam. So being woken up didn't seem to have made as big a contribution as I first thought it was going to make. So later this morning, I was feeling sort of an unease. So applying the three wells, I could understand what was going on with the human and allow the wisdom of the infinite to start to permeate the human experience. So first, I just brought compassion. Compassion to the unease, to the frustration, to the sense that, all my sacrifice hadn't yielded all that much. Just compassion. Of course, the human might have other expectations. And of course, the human might feel disappointment. Just embracing the human experience with compassion. No need to change anything, just a willingness to be there in an understanding hug, basically. It's kind of like inner child sort of work. Next is the well of attention. And that's where I start to tease apart exactly what were the dynamics of the situation to see if there's some wisdom that might show up. So as I looked, I noticed that indeed my exam could yield some kind of a medical treatment. So there was a contribution I made. And indeed, there was an energetic exchange between me and the nurse and the patient. There was definitely something that happened regardless of the external situation. There was something that happened. Who am I to question this matrix that we're in? This woven fabric where if you tug on any thread, it pulls on another thread. And when you sink down, when I sink down, I can feel its absolute perfection. That wisdom, that harmony didn't suddenly disappear when I went to the hospital and came back and then reappear. It's one continuous harmony, and I can rest into that. And not getting as much sleep, I actually was able to have a little bit more attunement with my body, take some extra time for rest this morning, and it actually brought in this extra gentleness, which is so sweet. So the attention had me notice the expectations and realize I don't have to believe those expectations. What is more than enough. The simplicity of life holds the mystery of the infinite. There doesn't have to be any extra fireworks. The mystery of the infinite is present in every moment. And as I just settled in with what actually happened, I can feel it. I can sense it. I know it. So there's this opening that happened, an embrace of what is, and a knowing that wisdom is here. Life is here, orchestrating all of it. And then finally, the last well is the last well is the well of action. So is there any action for me to take? And in this case, it was simply just giving myself the extra time in the morning to get some extra sleep and to just be gentle with myself, which is just lovely. You know, that life is unfailingly available. The timeless is unfailingly here, regardless of the situation. It means that there's no efforting required. There's no achievement required. There's no proving anything required. And whatever the action that comes up might be, it actually ends up showing us another aspect of the infinite. Sometimes it's just so clear in wisdom that there's an act of courage to take, or there's an act of vulnerability to take, or there's an act of steadfastness to take. Whatever it is, we end up discovering the sweetness, the strength, the miraculousness of this that we are. So with the three wells, we get to use human situations, that feel in conflict or limitation, and then allow ourselves to see with more clarity the fullness that's permeating everything and every moment.